Hello, Valpo fans. Aaron Levitt here with Valpo softball head coach Kate Stake as the softball team prepares to enter Missouri Valley Conference play this coming weekend after completing a lengthy pre-conference slate, and just want to talk about how things have gone in the early part of the season, look ahead to conference play. I think the place to start off is obviously your most experienced players, your senior class. Two seniors in Carly Trepanier, Jamie Lawton have kind of been stalwarts in the middle infield for you all 4 years, but this year leadership with a very young team. How have they performed so far?
On the field, they've performed great. I think they're both hitting at the top of our batting average right now. But they have been really good leaders on the field, but I think more importantly off the field. We have a young team, a lot of freshmen, and every year the seniors have a choice. It's either what are they going to get out of their last year or what are they going to be able to give their last year. And both of these guys have really jumped on board for giving. They've had a big impact, I think, on the freshman class. And not only are they leading well, but I think one of the nicest things to see is they're allowing the younger class to lead in certain ways as well. And I think back to when Carly was a freshman, and it was similar. She came in and earned a starting role and had a bit of a leadership ability herself as a freshman, and I think she sees that in some of the freshmen here. And so not only are they leading, but they're allowed to create some space and are allowing the freshmen, sophomores, juniors to step up and speak as well.
You mentioned the freshmen there, and you look at the freshman class this year, a big class, and a class you're counting on right now for a lot of key spots, a leadoff spot in the lineup, playing center field, playing catcher, some key spots both offensively and defensively for your team. As a coach, is it kind of tough to throw that many freshmen into the fire right off the bat? And how have you seen this group come along from, say, opening day to this point of the season?
Yeah, so we have 6 freshmen, 4 or 5 starting at a time. Let me start with the 6th one, Maddie Henry, though. She's spending a lot of time in the bullpen right now, and she is absolutely an incredible teammate and a huge piece of our success. There are a lot of people who always want to start, always are pushing, and of course she does too, but she's really accepted her role as getting our pitchers ready, being able to talk to Monica about how a pitcher's throwing if they're ready to go in, and just a huge impact player herself, even though she's not seen a lot of time between the lines. The other 4 and 5, depending on the day, they're continuing to contribute well. They've come in and just swung the bat and played the game, played pretty freely and loosely, which has been really good to see. Every once in a while, they make a mistake that exposes me as a coach, and I realize, I didn't coach that enough, I didn't teach that enough. But generally, they've come in with their shoulders back and just the love of playing and being on this team, and they've just been a great addition to us.
Looking at the early schedule this year, the first weekend of the season down at Mississippi State, a rough one in all aspects of the game. And then you had the scheduled weekend off before you went back to play 3 straight weekends. You've won 7 of your last 8 now. Things are clicking a lot better now. What was the message to the team after that rough opening weekend, and how have they kind of taken it upon themselves to kind of turn things around from that weekend to where they are now playing so well heading into conference?
I think there were 2 messages. The first message after Mississippi State is that we played terrible. There was no nicer way to say that, and if there was, I don't think I'd use it. We just didn't play well. We didn't look like the team who had played in the fall. We didn't look like the team who had practiced up to that point. And I think that was maybe the one thing that got us through, was at least the team that was on the field is not the team we know. And so we came back and said, we're just going to kind of let that one go. We're going to learn from it. We're going to be okay with it. And that's in the past, and we got to move forward. And then I think the other piece of that was that better isn't good. And so we started off about as bad as you could start, hitting especially. And then we did better the next day, but it still wasn't good. And we did better on Sunday, and that still wasn't good. And when we went to Liberty, we went 2-2, and it was better, but it still wasn't good, and our defense was really shaky. And that was kind of the second message is, I remember sitting them in the locker room, talking to them and saying, first, this falls on me. And the coaching staff. We have to prepare you differently. When we look at you kicking balls on defense, or we look at us not being successful in the circle or in the box, that's on the coaches as well as you. So we are in this together, and how we are going to be better. And so, the coaches, we approached the next couple weeks a bit differently in terms of how we were going to practice, in terms of game management, in terms of some of the things we were going to do in game. And then we got delayed in the flight, so we didn't get back to Valpo as soon as we wanted. And there was a lot of hours put in by the coaching staff. I'm very appreciative of that. And then the players really bought into working their tail off before Charlotte. We went outside on a very cold day and practiced out there for a couple hours to really shore up our defense. And I think from then on, we went from not just playing softball, but really competing. And not that they were just out there being okay with it, because they weren't, but there's a difference between playing hard and being out for blood. And I think that once we got to North Carolina, we really were focused for being out for blood, competing, playing to win, and we haven't really got off the gas pedal with that yet.
One of those games in that stretch recently, probably the highlight of the non-conference season, the game at North Carolina State. I remember you sent an email to the team September 25th with the schedule for this upcoming season, talking about, the tournaments we'd play in, and then you mentioned playing a game at NC State. The program has 2 wins all time over ACC teams. We will be the third. And you come out last Tuesday, put together a pretty good all-around game, clutch hitting, obviously shutting down an NC State offense, which had been prolific up to that point this year. Just what does it mean for the program to get a win like that, and especially in the manner they did, shutting down that offense?
Yeah, I think it was a great win for Team 37 and for the program. Beating an ACC team, beating any Power 5 team is always a good thing for a mid-major team, something for us to hang our hat on. I think the best part about that game is unquestionably we were the better team that day. And that was good to see, that we could compete with them like that. I thought that both pitchers, Emily and Pack, threw really well and executed a game plan that Monica put together. We missed very few pitches. We knew how we had to attack the batters, but then our pitchers came in and they really executed that. We faced a really good pitcher, who I think in some polls was the ACC pitcher of the week before. And honestly, I think to get us going, we played small ball. We played against a team who swings for the fences, but their defense played like they were playing against a team who swings for the fences. So we were able to expose some of that with small ball. And then once we got the momentum, we were able to get some of those sac flies, knock in some extra runs. So yeah, just a really complete game. I think we came out there ready to play hard. And like I said, I think that after 7 innings, the best team on the field won.
You mentioned Pack, one of the 2 pitchers against North Carolina State, and she's been on just a tremendous run of games right now. You look back, the no-hitter against Wagner at Charlotte, her performance out of the pen against North Carolina State, 10-inning win against the Lipscomb team. She held to 1 run, who's also a very good offensive team, and maybe most impressively, 3 international tiebreak innings without allowing a run. Her and the defense doing a really good job there. What have you seen from her this year? Kind of last year, she's in that role where she worked her way into kind of being a co-number 1 with Kenzie Grossman. And this year, obviously, she comes in, she's the undisputed number 1. What have you seen from her to kind of take to that role this year?
Pack's been on a mission, no question. She's been on a mission since the summer, since she set foot back on campus. Pack's good, and Pack can be really good, and over this stretch, Pack has been pretty great. And I think what is best about Pack is she knows she can be great, and that's what she's shooting for. So that whole mindset of better isn't always good, I think she understands that. When she's not throwing great, it's not good enough. If there's anyone who's up here working on their own, it's Pack. She'll come up here and throw on her own. She doesn't have a good workout that day, she'll throw some extra. She has bought into being successful here and really putting Valpo high up in the Valley.
Well, a good end to the non-conference slate leading into the start of Valley play this weekend at Bradley, and then the home opener scheduled for midweek next week here at home, weather permitting, obviously. Fingers crossed on that. Until next time, for Kate Stake, I'm Aaron Levitt. Go Crusaders.